Welcome to the final item on our agenda. The presentations thus far have covered the undergraduate curricula in the disciplines housed within the Biblical and Ancient Studies department. But what does one do afterwards? For those of you who, for whatever reason, wish to continue with your studies in your chosen discipline, the department offers honours degrees in 5 disciplines: Ancient Near Eastern Studies, Biblical Archaeology, Classical Studies, New Testament, and Old Testament. The honours degree gives you the opportunity to hone the skills you have learnt in your undergraduate degree and to apply them to a narrower and more focused set of topics. In this presentation, I will briefly explain what each of these programs offers, and if you are interested and you have maintained a strong academic record in that discipline at undergraduate level, we encourage you to contact one of our lecturers and discuss the possibility of registering for an honours degree. All of our honours programs consist of 5 modules, including one 36-credit research project. The honours program may be taken in a single year, but if you take it over 2 years, we strongly advise you to take the 36-credit research module in your final year. If you have an interest in the ancient societies of Egypt, Mesopotamia, Turkey, and the Levant, you may be interested in ancient Near Eastern studies. Although the department doesn't offer an undergraduate degree in the subject, we do offer the discipline at honours level. The degree is composed of 5 modules, 2 of which are compulsory for the completion of the degree. The 2 compulsory modules are HPANE 81, a 12-credit module in which students learn the theories, approaches, paradigms, and methodologies applicable to the study of the ancient Near East, and HRANE 85, the 36-credit research module, in which the student, with assistance from the faculty, undertakes to write a research article of roughly 20 pages on a topic of their choice. In addition to the 2 compulsory modules, you will choose 3 of 4 elective courses. They are ANE 4802, which looks at the religion and mythologies of the ancient Near East, ANE 4803, which looks at the ancient Near Eastern society, including politics, gender, and kinship. ANE 4804 is concerned with archaeology and material culture, including art and architecture. And the final option is CHS 4801, Decoloniality, Africana Thought, Discourse, and Critique, an interdisciplinary module that examines the methodologies, theories, paradigms, and other intellectual constructs associated with the decolonial epistemic framework. I shall move on now to another discipline, which is not offered as an undergraduate major, but which our department offers at honours level, and that is Biblical Archaeology. This is for students who have an interest in the material evidence that is germane to the study of the Bible and to the world and socio-historical context that gave birth to it. The structure is quite similar to the previous degree in that there are 5 modules, of which 2 are compulsory. The 2 compulsories are the 12-credit HPH BA81, in which students are introduced to the specialized methods, methodologies, and theories of the discipline, and HRH BA85, the 36-credit guided research article. In addition to these, students may choose any 3 of the 5 electives: CHS 4801, Decoloniality, Africana Thought, Discourse, and Critique, which I have already discussed, HBA 4802, which covers the Late Bronze Age, Iron Age, and the Babylonian and Persian periods, HBA 4803, in which students learn how to use the tools and skills of the discipline to critically analyze modern culture, including popular literature, film, art, performance, and biblical sermons, amongst others. HBA 4804 exposes students to the everyday life of the Levantine Iron Age, which is roughly from 1250 to 586 BC. And HBA 4806, which introduces students to the more technical aspects of biblical archaeology and their application to the cultural, historical background to the Old and New Testament worlds. The final honours programme that offers elective modules is in Old Testament. This can be taken either as the BA Honours in Biblical Studies, Old Testament, or the Bachelor of Theology Honours in Old Testament. The structure is very similar to the programs already discussed. There are two electives, the first being the 12-credit module, HPOT S81, that introduces students to the scientific method and the three paradigms of Old Testament research: the confessional, the historical critical, and the modern literary paradigms. The second course is, of course, the 36-credit guided research paper. There are 4 electives in this program, the first of which is, again, the interdisciplinary CHS 4801, exploring decoloniality. The 3 remaining options are OTS 4802, concerning the hermeneutics or understanding scripture, OTS 4803, which concerns exegesis, which is the tool by which we interrogate what the original authors intended to communicate and assess the degree to which that communication is still relevant today. Finally, OTS 4804 looks at the context that gave rise to the Old Testament texts, and particularly to the archaeological evidence of the period from 1200 BC to 333 BC. We turn now to 2 honours programs that do not have any elective modules, each of which is composed of 5 compulsory modules. I shall start with New Testament Studies, which takes the form of the BA Honours in Biblical Studies, New Testament period, or the Bachelor of Theology Honours in New Testament. Despite the name of the degree, I should stress that the qualification is actually New Testament and Early Christian Studies. In this program, there's a straight line between the undergraduate modules and the 5 modules in the honours qualification. They link seamlessly. When envisaged together, the undergraduate and honours curricula are a tightly woven, coherent, and increasingly complex whole. I shall first discuss what might be called the 3 content modules of the program. The first of these is CHS 4801, the interdisciplinary decoloniality module that I have already discussed. The second is ECH 4802, which is both a continuation and a refinement of SCR 2601. This module examines the formation of early Christian discourse, such as Christian writings and the literary tradition. And finally, ECH 4804 deals with the figure of Jesus, and among other things, explores the question of how we came to have such a mythologized figure at the center of the Christian tradition. The 2 remaining modules are more closely related to research, theory, and methodology. HPEC H81, which dovetails with CHS 4801, is a 12-credit module aimed at equipping students with the conceptual skills and tools required to conduct research in the discipline. And finally, HREC H86 is the 36-credit research paper. Unlike the research papers in the other programs, in New Testament, this module does not give the student license to pursue any topic within the field. Instead, there are 3 fields, from one of which the student must choose a topic. These are: 1. What is Christianity? Defining Christianity in light of its origins. Concrete case studies and trajectories of Christian identity formation. And this relates to ECH 4802. 2. Methods, theories, and leading figures. Concrete cases on aspects of the historical study of the New Testament and early Christian literature. This relates to the material in HPEC H81 and to CHS 4801. Finally, 3. Galilean archaeology and the historical figure Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus in his place, space, and religious discourse. This relates to the content of the module ECH 4804. We move on then to the final honours program offered in the department, which is from my own discipline of classics. This is the BA Honours in Classical Studies. At this level, both ancient history and classical culture are combined, although some of the modules still do have options in ancient history and classical culture. Where such options exist, it is expected that students will choose the one in which they major. The BA in Classical Studies does not have any elective modules and consists of 5 compulsory courses. CLS 4801, 4802 and 4803 are all 24-credit modules. CLS 4801 gives students the choice between studying some non-literary tools in ancient history, such as archaeology, epigraphy, and numismatics on the one hand, or to look at the way in which specific classical myths have been received and presented in both the ancient and modern worlds. Students concentrating on classical culture will study facets of classical society, especially religion and gender, while history students will discuss the rise of Philip II and of Alexander III of Macedon in the course CLS 4802. The final 24-credit module in our discipline is CLS 4803. Here, history students look at the constitution and political significance of the period dominated by Rome's first emperor, Augustus. The last 2 modules both focus on the tools, methods, and practice of research in classics. In CLS 4804, history students look closely at the methods used to interrogate the evidence relevant to the topics on CLS 4802 and CLS 4803, as a taste of how real classical research is undertaken. Culture students, on the other hand, look very closely at one classical myth and how it is received in the drama of Euripides and Seneca. The final module is HRCW L81, the research essay. As usual, students are assisted in choosing an appropriate research topic, and with guidance from the faculty, pursue independent research towards a substantial research article. Now, this brings us to the conclusion of our brief survey of the honours programs offered within the Department of Biblical and Ancient Studies. I reiterate that if you wish to study further, you should please contact one of your lecturers and discuss the available options at the time. And this brings to a conclusion our department's undergraduate orientation. I wish to thank you very much for your time and, on behalf of the staff in our department, wish you all the best in your academic endeavours. Thank you and goodbye.